thought of you on Christmas Day. Great big spaceship overhead. I thought, oh, yeah, Betty's up there.
Right on top of it, yeah.
Did I do something wrong? Because you never came back for me. You just dumped me.
I told you. I was called back home, and in those days humans weren't allowed.
I waited for you. I missed you.
Oh, you didn't need me. You were getting on with your life.
You were my life. You know what the most difficult thing was? You took me to the furthest reaches of the galaxy. You showed me supernovas, intergalactic battles, and then you just dropped me back on Earth. How could anything compare to that?
All those things you saw, you want me to apologise for that?
No, but we get a taste of that splendor, and then we have to go back.
Look at you, you're investigating. You found that school, you're doing what we always did.
You could have come back.
I couldn't.
Why not?
Unlikely things to hear on a property show.
Now, an excellent way to check if it is a load-bearing wall is to knock it down and see what happens.
She did blow us up with a big bazooka. This is us being blown up with a big bazooka.
But I mean, she seems to know what she's doing. The first thing I'd do if I wanted to invade the world would be to kill you.
Thanks.
I wouldn't even let you get talking, like you always do. Bullet between the eyes, first thing.
Again, thank you.
Oh, 12 times if necessary.
Ah, yes.
As master of all,
to establish from this day
a new order of Time Lords. From this day forward.
what? What's so funny?
A gun.
What about it?
A gun in 4 parts.
Yes. And I destroyed it.
A gun in 4 parts scattered across the world. I mean, come on. Did you really believe that?
What do you mean?
As if I would ask her to kill.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I've got her exactly where I want her.
But I knew what Professor Doherty would do. The Resistance knew about her son. That's why I came to find you, know your enemy. I told her about the gun so she'd get me here at the right time.
But you're still gonna die.
Don't you want to know what I was doing? Traveling the world.
Tell me.
I told a story, that's all. No weapons, just words.
Yeah. I hate the gems. The gems are like.
We'll get red hot. And begin.
I feel like eventually maybe I might not have the right weapon anymore. Get new one. That was bad.
This is fun. I sound like a real life. Now, welcome to my podcast. I'm here to talk about this random thing that I clearly know nothing about. Well, ISDF because that's funny. And I always love ISDF. You still want... Up dead. Disconnected, reconnected. The good old-fashioned disconnect, reconnect system. The Wi-Fi needs fixing. I'll be on the second side.
Back, relax, and enjoy a healthy dose of prolonged eye contact.
G-Money! This video's been the only thing in my mentions for the past, 72 hours. And the summon is the pinned comment? Okay, you know what we have to do. Let's stop this. Let's... Alright, All Might Strong hairspray, Crust skincare package. Kind of ironic. Here it is, right? Red-haired. I knew it wasn't real. Ow, what the... You almost got me. Wanna join the league? What the hell? No! That's so unmanly. I'll buy you more hair dye whenever you need to touch up. And I'll dye it for you. Deal. Later. Shitty hair, what the hell are you doing? I offered to dye my hair. Idiot. Here he come back. Ooh. Shut up.
Ah, phew. Halloween's finally over. Good thing there's no ground. So, yeah. Ghosts. I think this one's really good. And I do absolutely 100% like this Ghost because two reasons. One, and I think they do touch it on a bit more. I think this episode is the first one that delves into more like no, I think season 1 also had it. Like ghosts from other things, but I love as they slowly add more. They slowly add things that are really interesting. Like you have the not all that. You have the looking into the mysterious death of, again, terrible names. Why? Okay, I accidentally messed something up on one of them, which is annoying because let me just turn the sound off of that. But again, I do love this series. Sorry about this. I've got a couple of things to do today, and I am doing it all at once. Why? I'm insane. That's besides the point. This series I love because of that. The couple of episodes that I want to talk about, I'll talk about in the next bit. But overall, I do think it is really good. So, also the one thing I just realized, there's now ghost section, so I'm going to put, because I made it after realizing I sometimes review ghosts. So there you go. Besides the point. I don't really want to. Some of the episodes I do like are stuff like the Alberta podcast, which starts becoming a thing. I know he was previously in season 1, but he was a one-off, so I thought they weren't going to go into it. And the whole season's about who did it. And also, I love the idea of it being like, was it your sister? And it's like, no, and like she's trying to defend it, and it's really interesting. The other one I liked is, which they also have, you have like stupid deaths alongside one of the actors. Because I think the CBS one came after the BBC Ghosts series. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. And Stupid Deaths was from Horrible History. And if you know the BBC one, you'll know that that all the actors from Horrible History are the actors. Besides, like the two main, like the two living people weren't in sort of like Horrible History, but all the ghosts are in the Horrible Deaths sort of like series, which I absolutely love. I don't know why it works, but the idea of like these people, because you recognize some of them and some of their stuff, besides one of them, which is the sort of like politician, because Horrible Deaths never did like a modern day political person. I think the earliest they went to was the First and Second World War, and the only thing you got were generals. You didn't get anything recent, which would be really good about doing a horrible history in like the 80s. But I think like Horrible Histories were in the 90s, so it makes sense why they didn't like focus on those time periods. I forgot the second word. Horrible History 5 shows from 2009. And then it ended with an amazing final show. But yeah. Matthew Brunard, Jim Howick, Simon Farbe, Margaret Howe Douglas, Lance Richard, Ben Wilbound. And there probably is a couple others, because I know there's one more actor that is a ghost that I can't see here. I wouldn't be surprised if she was also an actor. You can see the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the same ones that are in the Ghosts series, which I think is a really fun idea. Overall, BBC Ghosts. Which I think is overall really clever as an idea. But you can kind of get it. It's sort of a... But they have it in Dumb Deaths, which I think is somewhat of a reference to one, the original series, which had like people from Horrible Histories, which in turn had a thing that was reoccurring called Stupid Deaths. So I don't know that, I think that is meant to be a tip-off, alongside having, like, some of the deaths make sense. You have, some of the deaths aren't stupid. You have a person who died of dysentery. You had a person who was assassinated, which I love. Which I love the idea that this somewhat is something, because in the first, because I don't know which one came first, but it seemed like it might have been nowhere near to the end. I don't know. I really have no clue. It wasn't 2023. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they were going alongside each other. CBS. But overall, because of that, yeah, 2001, this started, and I don't know when season 3 was. Last season, which was season 5. Anyway, besides that point, you have, like, lightning, and 2 of the deaths kind of were stupid. Like, why would you give kids arrows and then stand in front of a target? I'm pretty sure that's not a good idea. But I get it, there's a lot of really good ideas, of lovely characters, and learning more, definitely about the story with the assistants. Going through all of that, and then slowly piecing together what's going to happen, who's going to go where, is really fun. And figuring out about this sort of, like, story with, I love them talking about, this is just season 2, there's like one more season left, which I would like to talk about further, because, yeah, that's the episode I'm thinking about. Oh yeah, it did introduce it. In this episode, the assistant has a car, and the car has a ghost, and it's all about the car crash situation, and I love that idea of, like, a car haunting. Why am I a dumbass? Literally. Again, it's fun, it's creative. I liked the BBC Ghosts, but besides ghosts living in a specific house and can't move on, you don't build upon that, besides one of the ghosts, which is named Fanny, constantly repeating the death after the sound of a clock, which changes if you change the clock. Very odd. But I do think it's a very, it doesn't look into, like, oh, why is this happening? While the CBS ghosts are like, okay, why is this happening? And I like that a lot more at the current moment. So, yeah. So, yeah, I do think the series is really interesting. And overall, 100% worth to watch. I think because I'm talking about this, and I have compared this to, like, the UK one, because by the proxy of having some of the characters, you can kind of tell that some of the characters kind of are based on each other. There will be some similarities that come across with it. And I don't think it's bad. I think it's really interesting. Definitely with some of the characters. And I am excited because I have watched season 3. I am excited based on that on season 4. But that might come out tomorrow because I don't want to talk about that quite yet. So yeah. With all of that absolute insanity out of the way for some stupid reason, I hope you enjoy, like this video, and good night.
Alright, first question. Are you the killer?
No.
Really?
Yes.
Killer say what?
What?
Got him! We got him! Guilty!
Oh, I do hate the monologue. Give us a bit back. How many are you?
I'm the last of my species.
Really? No. Last of the species, the Klempari defense. As an interrogation defense, it's a bit old hat, I'm afraid.
I'm the last of my species.
No, you're really not. Because I'm the last of my species, and I know how it sits in a heart. So don't insult me.
Mr. Krabs, they've been saying that for the past 10 minutes. Well, snap out of it. We have customers to serve. Fire in the hole!
Unlikely things to hear on a property show.
So, a year on, I've come back to see how they're getting on. F*** me, still not finished.
For all my battles and all my rhymes, you have failed and perished 669 times. Oh, that is, oh, I'm so excited. So, yeah. Oh, shoot.
We all know the plan. Do a zombie casual, test a theorem. Okay.
I know that I left you to raise Hiccup alone, but I thought he'd be better off without me. And I was wrong. I see that now, but... Oh, stop being so stoic. Go on. Shout, scream, say something!
You're as beautiful as the day I lost you. Welcome back to this. If you see, this is before. And now we're slowly turning into a town. I just love this AI because I can just continue into this madness. Here is another one. Joe, we went from a field of flowers to a field of people and rivers. Joe, you look cute. Looks really nice. Again, I just love these sort of pictures. If someone could actually, if you comment this or send it to someone who actually knows how this AI takes an image and then recreates it into another image, I would love to. Because it's so interesting. If you look at the episodes, just the amount of sort of ways that it changes specific things, this got more detailed, is interesting and absolutely bizarre. Yeah, you can see how interesting it is. We see this house on a river. Now it becomes less, this is becoming less detailed. It's becoming more like one of those paintings. And instead of the river, it's now just turning into more splotches of paint. It is this is absolutely fun. And I want to see where this goes. It's just going further into the insanity. Sort of the insanity I like, because it started from here and went here. Now we actually look like it's a painting of an inside of an attic. Or a house. Here's the attic, here's the inside of the house, there's the sky. And if you say, where's the rest of the house? Well, yes, obviously, that's beside the point. Who needs the rest of the house? Ooh, this looks so cool. This one looks like one of those old-fashioned pictures. If you know what I mean, where it has a bit of a shading thing in front of the main focus. Here's one of the last two pictures. This one got less detailed, and I want to see what happens now. Ooh, this is turned into a statue. It was like a town before, now it's a statue. A good statue. So, again, how they take the angles into this specific direction is fun. And it's absolutely interesting. So yeah, if anyone knows how that and how the AI figures and changes the image, I would love to know. Phew, I got out of bed. Okay, well, I feel like this is going to happen for the next couple of days. More ghosts! Also, yes, I know the ironic scene. The next couple of videos will be ghosts. Just after Halloween. This wasn't planned, I swear. But yeah. BBC Ghosts. Which, this is the season that is the previous season that just passed. And I do think I do like it, and I am excited. There's a couple episodes. There's a lot of episodes that I love in this. Again, this sort of looks at it and then looks at the business sort of, because I think they sort of set up the business at series 2. So I think after, because series 1 they still are setting up their sort of business. And then season 2, including the whole arc, like I said, with the assistant, getting him involved with all of that stuff. that sort of has the business be a business rather than I'll just hold it to that. But yeah, that is just one of the things I feel like is a bit different. And through season 3, you can see it even more becoming a business, independent without any third person help. There's a couple of episodes I want to get into, so... But yeah, the other thing is obviously the business is thriving, which the US did, but after one incident, it's sort of like... Because it could do the same, like after a specific incident, it goes down and then goes back up, which could be where they maybe be going. My watch too tight. Again, like all things, I always forget to loosen this. But yeah, that could be where they're going, but I don't think so. But I do think this is really interesting. Also, let me just check something. I always just mess up sound. Always just give me a sec. But yeah, there's a lot that you get. The story with, like, sort of like Ghost following a human, which I like as an idea. I really do. The whole idea with one person following another is really interesting. And then you have Trevor's brother's story, which deals with, like, the brother dealing with this sort of, like... Because you had a similar one with his sort of, like, death and the story around his death. Yeah. Jay. Not Jay. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know which one the story was, but I know that one of his friends came around. I think it might have been even in season 1. And came around during the time, and this one has another one of the stories. Again, there's some stories I do like through this. Including the silent partner, because it shows that Trevor can still invest in stocks. Which, if that's the case, if I can see Ghost, and I have a Wall Street person who's currently haunting my house, so what stocks do you think? Like, what you're opening a business and you have Wolf of Wall Street haunting at all times. Now, what investments do you think I should take? Because, like, yes, he's probably out of date and doesn't know the latest blockbuster, but I opened the newest stock exchange, and you can probably, like, find out, like, oh, you could do this and you could do that. There's probably, like, some illegal things, but that, you could do that, because he's recent. I think it's, like, 2009. So he's not, like, I don't know if the laws have changed that much, but in the comments if it has. You also have The Wedding, which big, because that is a gay wedding, which seeing more representation of that is always a bonus. That is all. That is all. That is just an amazing thing to be like. Also, there's the other thing, but I'm going to talk about the last episode, like, was the idea that, like, as Pete, who was a travel agent, can walk outside his sort of area, which, I don't know if that's because he's a travel agent, or because he was so stuck in his ways, that, because the one thing I don't get, I think I mentioned this during the first one, is that in this, the BBC Ghost, and who's the other one? Let's look at this. Because you have Pete. And then, obviously, you have the UK counterpart. Which, what's his name? Pat. Pete and Pat. Which are two common names, I think, during the 60s and 80s in their respective countries. I don't know. But one of the things that I like is that Pete, yeah, is a person who was fairly nonchalant, does what he wants. But he was sort of grounded. He sort of didn't really do a lot. Compared to Pat, who someone was like, oh, should we go off script? And he was like, oh, that's this night. That's that night. Let's plan our dinners with this specific meal at this specific day. Which makes Pat's scenario still tragic that, like, he got cheated on, because cheating is never a thing that you should promote. But with Pete, you can kind of have that more sadness of he just didn't do a lot. Yeah, so did Pat, but Pat specifically was like, someone suggested change, and he was like, this. Maybe Pete's the same, I don't know. He hasn't shown this. It's also the worst thing, because if I'm correct, his wife, after season 2, is stuck there. Which is not great, and will be horrifying. So, yeah. That was one of the things that... Again, this is long, because I do think this series is good, and I do compare this to the UK one because they have a lot of similarities. And also the plot twist, Isaac disappears into the wall, and like, how are we going to find him back? How are we going to solve this? Because someone else disappeared, and then all of that happened, and it's really interesting how that happens. And I absolutely 100% think this is really interesting and enjoy this. And I absolutely love the idea. So yeah, like I said, BBC Ghost, not BBC Ghost, I think it's CBS that this was originally aired, which I don't know if CBS is owned by BBC. But it's really good. CBS is not official. Is owned by Paramount Global. Oh, I didn't know that. And not BBC. That's interesting. And then why is it on BBC? I don't know. Because it says season 4 will be on BBC. But yeah, I do think it's really good. It's really enjoyable. And definitely has great characters overall. So yeah, I definitely recommend for you to watch. So I definitely 100% recommend for you to... I definitely hope you enjoyed, hope you liked. Comment this video, and good night. Stanley. I loved the new alcohol episode. That was cool.
I am going to steal the moon. Because you're going to tell me no. And I feel like it. Why can't I steal the moon? And I'm going to do it right now. Let's go! Bye. So yeah, surprising no one. I can't rhyme. And the only other time that I usually do rhyme is accidental. When I didn't know I was rhyming. So, yeah. One thing that I think the show does well is building up the idea, because the idea of everyone forgetting you and slowly building onto that, I just think it's really good. So yeah.
I love it, feel like even more of a villain, because I've got this on my lap because I like fiddling with it, and I'm just basically stroking the skull. Yes, George. Welcome, George.
Luckily, it's only 5, so it shouldn't be too long. I say that, I mean it's like 9 hours. I've just reconnected. So I'm just going to just do a couple of things. First, this takes priority over this.
I read so many people be like, the Wi-Fi's fine, the Wi-Fi's fine. This is normal for like households when like things that go up and down. No, it's not. Unless it is, and I'm just being crazy. I just hate it when like.
This song is about to stop. 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 Okay, I lied, I got nowhere to hide, but I bet your friend will make it to the end this time.
Whew. Yeah, this is gonna be the next 5 days, Ghost. It's not even Halloween. So yeah, like I said, this is gonna be a bit smaller because one, the season's smaller, so there's not a lot to talk about, and two, even though I do love like this series, it's mostly because I like the fact that you have the Horrible History actors, which I'm not going to review Horrible History if anyone's going to ask, because I haven't watched a whole series of that. I've just watched in and out for clips, moments, and individual things, and it was sort of like me when I was growing up. But I do love it, and I definitely over-listen to a lot of the songs. But I liked the ghosts, and some of the ghosts and how they were set up, I absolutely love. I am annoyed because even if you look at multiple series, season 1 has 6 episodes. All of them have, if I'm correct, 6 episodes in it. Except each one of them has a sort of like Christmas episode past season 2. Season 1 doesn't. And there doesn't have a lot happening compared to like season 1, which either talks about law or sort of like changing something with like the business, with like the assistant, sort of like new positioning, the car, the ghost following people, or the sort of stuff where it's like connections and LGBT representation with having that slowly develop. Season 1 doesn't have a lot happening, but the only thing I want to say, 543212007, is the fact that one of the things that is different that I find really interesting, and it shows the US it shows like something really interesting that like we don't mind talking about legitimately having one person actively in the house who is somewhat of a murderer. They do bring it back later in the series, but I'm not going to talk about that until season 5 because that's roughly when it becomes relevant. But I'm not going to mention too much about that. But overall, which is the idea, I'm not going to talk about the consequences, but the idea that one of the ghosts, which is Julian, pushes her off, which I have mentioned is different to the US one, because the UK one is legitimately, could have possibly been murder. You could have had a ghost murderer, but the sort of US one is legitimately an accident. A ghost pushed something off, they didn't see it, and hijinks ensues. The other thing, which I also would like to point out, I do sort of like, is in each one of the series you have the sort of decapitated one. In the US, besides the beginning and one scene where it's like, someone's lost my head, he's not there for most of the stories. And I know, like, even in season 1, he's not in it. He's still sort of in the background, which I feel like is more interesting, of like just having one character who just has nothing and just existed. That's what I think would be really more interesting, to like have the character someone in the background, but someone disappears. Where does he appear for like a lot of the series? I don't know. But yeah, this is season 1 out of 5 for the next 1, 2, 3, 4 more days. There's going to be 4 more days of this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and good night. So I've got the new gloves, and this is the first Cuphead that I'm going to be playing with the new gloves. People Playground, Silent Hill 2. Maybe I would like to eventually play Silent Hill 2, because that sounds like fun, if not terrifying. 4th time, because I got cut off. I wasn't trying to imply his life was fake. When I record these are all fake, and I got, besides the first 2 times, which I didn't really word it correctly, and the last time, which I got cut off, I agree that he had a life. What he went through, even in the game, I would say is a life. What I was saying is this is a really interesting, like, how that he took this thing and spread such, like, joy and hope to all these people and create such connections. This is not a thing of saying, like, oh, it wasn't real life and that's more of a shocking thing. It was more of a, this is how interesting, like, you can look at life. Not, is it fake, is it real? It's, he just did it. He created connections. And he had, like, this community.
Unlikely things to hear on a property show.
Knock it down, tarmac it, f*** 'em.
I destroy everything. I make everyone's lives worse. I don't want to be this way. Not forever.
Yeah, great then. So I'm just gonna... Okay.
Dude, check it out, I just made some synonym rolls. Some synonym rolls. Some rolls.
I've deleted it like an idiot. For crying out loud.
And if you ever come in here again with a goddamn opinion, I will shove it so far up your ass, you'll never see the light of day again!
The Elder Scrolls. Oh, that's so cool.
You ever be driving along having a wonderful day and then all of a sudden you hit a deer? Old friend up for lunch and then you both spot a deer and now you have a new treasured memory?
What I want, oh no, oh wait, no. They've been here. Been 4 days now, so yeah, a bit of an odd one, but this is gonna be here for a while. I can't think of too many new ones. So yeah. Season 2. I like it. Again, besides the spoiler section, which I have 2 episodes to talk about, which are these 2. Luckily, very sharp. That's a relief. I don't need to worry about where how I'm going to like, and I am going to find this one here or here or here. Ah, that's relief. I just realized I didn't copy and paste over the thing. I can do it now before I can do it. But yeah, like I said, there's not much to really talk about in the non-spoiler section. It's a good series. I prefer the US one. I know some people might not, but I do. So yeah. The one thing in the US one that they point out is each one of the ghosts has a power, sort of like a you have this, you have that, and it's sort of a remnant of how you die. Smells, situational things, like how your body could affect other people. Like the smell of diarrhea from someone who died of dysentery, breath of someone who had, like, poisoning of a specific type of food, and all of that stuff. The only episode, I think, because, like, season 1, besides ghosts exists, they talk about a couple of ghost powers, and in the US one, they do kind of, like, here are all the powers, same with the first episode, here's all the powers, X, Y, and Z, etc., etc., etc. You also have some people discovering their powers, which this one has it earlier, but the other series has a different type of discoveries, as in different types of ghosts. And I think this one actually is better, more interesting of, like, how the powers are discovered, because 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The US is completely accidental. Here's a good place to do this, I'm a travel agent, oh no, there's a fly. I was like, the fly can't hurt us. Like, yeah, I know, but it's annoying. And then he steps out of bounds. And it's like, oh, you could do that? This one is also, like, somewhat accidental, but, like, accidental in a way that, like, was somewhat deliberate. Because the sort of grey lady puts her head out and said, take the camera off the lawn. Sort of like, the lawn's good, try and do that. And he accidentally takes a picture. And then it's revealed in the picture. Which I like. That idea of, like, wait a second, you're in a photo. And I absolutely find it interesting. The other one, which I like, is this one here, which somewhat has a unreliable narrator story. Again, it's simple, but I just like the idea where you just repeat the same events from different angles and just be a bit more honest and then reveal the truth, which is fun. Also helps because one was lying to another, and that was really interesting. But yeah, it is a good series, one that is worth watching. Again, I know I'm constantly referring to US, but with literally the two series, and I also did the same thing with the US, which is UK, because I watched the UK first, but I didn't think I reviewed it, so I rewatched it again. And like I said, because the two series do have that similarities and do have those similar points, it is really interesting to be like, okay, where are they the same, where are they different, and how are they different? So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video, and good night.
I didn't want to believe that you cursed us, but the evidence is overwhelming. You made me look ridiculous.
You made me. Okay, that's better. Yeah, that's about a delay. Which is weird. It's always weird to be like, and then I'm going to be sick, so and then like, right about, let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Around about like 18 to 20 seconds delay. Which makes sense. I might try and improve.
Is someone gonna tell me what I just saw? Well?
Young Midoriya, let me...
All Might, respectfully, I will cook you if I see your hussy lips move again, Mom.
It's true, honey. All Might and I were kissing.
No, we're good.
Really?
No, her and me are good. I'm killing an old man tonight. Stand up.
Young Midoriya, please!
No, All Might, this is how it's gotta be. I'm gonna kill you now, then I'm gonna go into my mind palace and I'm gonna kill you again. I'm gonna kill your yellow soul in my mind palace, All Might.
Give me a chance to explain myself!
No, because you have to abandon your gods now, All Might, because if you get up there, I'm Utah smashing the gates open, and I'm bringing you down, All Might.
Not down!
Yeah, down to HE double hockey sticks, and if I can't shove you down, I'm flushing you down. If I can't flush you, I'm getting the plunger.
Don't get the plunger!
But I gotta get the plunger, All Might, because you're an evil courtesan, and that's where evil courtesans go. Double hockey stick land.
Okay, you're both crying. Can we pause?
No, it's okay, Mom. It's not your fault.
See now.
I let a fox with tuberculosis into the hen house, and what did he do? He got his bloody lips all over you.
Well, not all over.
Are you trying to find out, All Might? Because if you keep flipping around, you're gonna find out.
Honey, I kissed All Might.
Mommy, no! Honey, I got a little tipsy at dinner and your father's been away and I promise I'll tell him everything when he gets back.
Good luck with that.
All Might, if you test me, I'm going to have to give you the smoke! No, it's been a long night and I think we all just need to go to bed.
Agreed.
Watch it.
I am not staying here.
I got my eye on you, homewrecker. Izuku! Love you, Mommy! All Might.
So I had to redo all of this, and it is annoying. So, yes, yay. If anyone knows how to restore it, it'll be a couple of weeks of, you know, the other stuff. So you will get a couple of stuff. And maybe I'll get Smoke Dash at this point, because that will be useful earlier on. And then I am not going to get the Chaser, because that is not as good compared to that. So, goodbye.
Hey, you, come here.
Yes.
Give her your number.
Can do.
I don't want this guy's number.
Not a problem.
Take his number.
Terry, by the way. Hi.
No, I'm not that desperate.
None taken.
That's not what I meant.
I shouldn't have assumed.
Well, if you don't want it, I'll take his number.
I'm open to that.
No, only Eve.
Sounds good.
Terry, you should go.
On my way.
Terry, you should stay right where you are.
Nowhere to be.
Shoot! Get out of here.
Roger that. Happy Friday, everyone.
Use the pop-up thing again, because that could be useful for this.
I'm gonna go to bed early. I'm not gonna stay up doing random things. I'm gonna go to bed early.
Thanks for stopping by, Dad.
Is your faucet
Speaking.
Stop, Dad! It's fine!
Do I seem old?
Gosh dang it, I gotta make a run to the hardware store. I'll be back to finish this up next month.
Wait till Peter gets free, then you'll be sorry, Hook!
Wait, you call me this too? Is this a universal thing? How long have people been calling me this?
Well, isn't that your name? Hook?
No! It's Johnson! Who told you that my real last name was related to the worst accident of my life? Oh my gosh, that's so mean.
But aren't pirate names often based on appearances?
Do you see him? Over there, that terrifying freak of nature? Do you want to know what I call him?
What?
Josh! Because that's his freaking name!
Okay, well what about One-Eyed Pete?
That's on his birth certificate! That's his actual name!
My parents was Greek!
His parents was Greek.
Yeah, we all know. Yeah, it's all past Halloween. I'm still doing this. I'm insane. So yeah, I've talked about this before. BBC Ghosts. It is a thing. It is entertaining. And I love it. Sorry if I'm looking, my Wi-Fi went down. Oh, I think it's makeup. In some capacity. It's low, but fine. So, I've said about how constantly connecting this with the US is being like, this is the 6th day of me comparing UK to US, and that is fair. But the one thing I have to acknowledge is the reason why I'm doing this is because I watched the BBC, and then I watched the US, and then I realised I didn't review the BBC for some stupid reason. I don't have an explanation. It's probably because I didn't review things back then. I don't know. Probably I did, or I didn't. I don't know. I sometimes forget which ones I reviewed or not. So after I reviewed the US, which I didn't review, I just came back and reviewed this one. Because there's a lot to talk about the differences in this. And I think I like it because it's two sort of like it's BBC Ghost and CBS Ghost. It's my US versus UK The Office. Here's two interpretations. Here's two people trying to do the interpretations. And here is what came out as a result. Two different styles of two similar concepts doing similar bits or like similar type of setup, and see where we go with it. And I love it. So yeah. The only thing I would like to talk about is, like the sort of US, which had a whole arc with someone coming in and sort of like disturbing the peace of sorts. This one's more probably an actual... No, actually, that is true. But the two of these stories both have I'm the fake sister, 54321, I'm the fake sister pretending to be the sister just to get into the house. The one thing I like is in this, it had the sister by herself, nothing to do with the landlord and all of that stuff. Sort of being like, yep, I'm the sister, I'm pretending to sort of take the land. And I think the US ghost, the UK ghost, sort of has the thing with them even going to like a sort of like strip club sort of place where one of them died. To sort of like talk about, oh, what happened, and is this true? And even though I do love the fact that you go out, because this is one of the second time that they go out to see other ghosts in other habitats, besides just going to do the house sale bit, which they both do. I like the idea of them going out to, like, because they did the same thing when they were visiting her mum, who died in a specific place. But this one, I also like, because one of the things that they do is, which is just hilarious, where they're trying to do like oh no, this is happening, and this. Two things come up. They were learning improv in the episode. And they were doing like, what do we do? Yes, and? It was like, yes. You learned the number one rule of improv. Yes, and it. Never say no. I know, I haven't done improv, and I know that much at the very least. But the other thing I love is one of the things kick my head. I'm like, that's the most out of context. Like, it's like, what? But yeah, it's weird, it's confusing, but it's absolutely insane in the best of ways. So, like I've been saying, and like I'll be saying for the next 2 days, which is weird because they'll be the shortest days, so that's going to be weird. This is happening. I'm going to finish the series. I'm also realistically, on the Monday, not the Monday, but like on the day I saw 5 again, which will be Saturday. Yeah, it's not confusing at all. I will be making one video to sort of pull them all together, but yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, I hope you like this madness, and good night. Yeah. Pretty decent. I wasn't gonna win that, but I'm gonna. Let me just go to options, go back to controls, go on to here, go on to A.
Right. This is one of my favourite sentences of all time. Let me tell you why. Every time you say it, if you emphasise a different word, it changes the meaning of the sentence. I didn't say we should kill him. 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 It's really fun. Give it a go.
Okay.
Now go.
Okay, so what I'm going to do. So yeah, 2 more of this. So let's continue. Woo! So yeah, besides, this is another episode of me comparing US to UK ghosts. And I like it. There's not a lot to talk about in this sort of section because, like I've said before, there's not really any sort of besides I like it, and there's one specific moment that I sort of like, which sort of changes which sort of shows a lot of, I think, some of the big differences. There's not a lot to talk about in the non-spoiler section. So why don't we go to the spoiler section? Okay, what is there to talk about? There's the episode right there. Episode 4. And this is the one thing that I want to talk about it that shows the difference. Which is, by the way, there's a party. Oh, 8 and 6. Oh, I prepared it for people of 80 years old. And they're accidentally children. And it's like the awkward, the cringe, the sort of like, oh no, we have to prepare something. Oh, people will sue us or we'll be in trouble. It's a lot darker than, but I think watch just search UK versus US, you can kind of tell that UK has a lot of darkness versus US. Like, I think there was a series of like 40 Towers or whatever the series was, where it's like a hotel, a management, and ends up with like, the inspector, and there's Rat. It's a lot darker. But again, a lot of people have said that. And this series ends up, that sort of starts off being talked about in season 5, which is they have this sort of business and then it burns down. But I'm not going to talk about that yet. Yeah, the gatehouse. I'm not going to talk about what happens in season 5, but it does leave a cliffhanger. And the gatehouse destroyed, which is basically, in the US one, they have like this business of like all of this selling stuff, which they're doing well. The UK sort of does a bit well until like season 5, where it all goes downhill, but you can kind of tell they're sort of ending it, wrapping it up. But yeah. I do sort of think it's interesting. So, with all of that being said, and all of that wrapping up, what's the final point to all of this? Why am I saying all of this? Is there no point, any point? Is there a banana of a point? Anyway. Like I keep saying, they're just different. Do I prefer the US one? Yes. But that's because I'm a person who actually has questions of, like, if you have, like, they've shown evidence of, like, items come out of us. If you have, let's say, a chocolate bar, and then you eat the chocolate bar, and then you dissolve the chocolate bar, does it then reappear? Or what happens? Obviously, the bathroom is used, obviously, and then it goes back up, and it's really weird. But the other thing that I have questioned is, if you have an iPad, does it constantly have the same amount of charge and all the stuff, videos that you can watch on it? Or does that basically non-exist? If you have a downloadable thing on it, does it basically stay there? If I have a phone, can I call someone, theoretically? Because when I died, I had self-service, and the item never changes, so I can basically call anyone from any location. Can I call the living if I have a phone with me? If I have an item like a gun that can be shot off, does the gun just reload itself with all the empty bullets? Again, these are the questions I think of all the time about, like, what is possible, what is not. And in the US one, they start to, like, question that, think about that, and have these, like, things about, like, oh, what will work and what won't work. Again, my type. Where it's like, now, how do I figure out if this is true or fake? Again, my type of madness, in a way. So yeah, I 100% recommend for you to watch this. So yeah, go and watch it. It's entertaining as hell.
You are literally the worst. If you didn't mean it. Fun fact. Don't.
Okay, I'm gonna actually do that so that might do that for some other. So let's do a play gig. And hopefully you don't realise that that's also had all the stuff been deleted. Okay, I've seen that. Wait, no, go back. Oh, I've heard of this. Nickel B talks about this. This is one of those that I know I will be really scared to play, but I might want to try. I also might eventually do like stuff. Yeah, custom night.
Fraction is now making this candy look bigger. Folks, one moment. We have a few things to iron out.
So yeah, at least for the UK, time to wrap this up. So yeah, like I said, even though it doesn't say season 5, just focus on this section where it does say season 5. It's over. Besides the fact that I'll be doing like one small one for one video on YouTube. It's not going to be seen on TikTok because it'll be all of them, and I'm pretty sure they're above 10 minutes at this point. So yeah, it's kind of putting all of it together. And I do love this series. There's a lot to like about it. And even though I have said that I prefer the US one, I still think this is a really good and charming series. And through season 1, it's building and looking at the characters in fun ways. It's definitely done a great job to do that. And it's really good. The actors are amazing. Seeing the Horrible History actors together, at least some of the ghost ones are, again, like I said before, the ghost ones are from Horrible History. Seeing them all do their stuff again is just interesting. Because you can tell that they have been able to work off each other. And you can feel like, though, like, you know how each one of them acts. You know how they act. So you can tell that they've worked together. I know that sounded badly. I'm sorry. But yeah, time for the more funner stuff. So, like I hinted before, season 4, Fire. So, the Garden Gatehouse, which is sort of like a thing in the UK, I think. It's like a thing. You can go out to the countryside for like the weekend, do an Airbnb for a gatehouse. I know it's a thing. I haven't done too much because, but I have heard about stuff like that before. But one of the things was April Fools. Each one of them is trying to get pranked. And because of her setting a fire, doing something, they weren't able to get insurance on the gatehouse because they think they're faking it, but in reality they're just pranking ghosts, but they can't really explain it. Oh, they'll look crazy! Plus a bunch of like really unexplainable things that make no sense unless ghosts are real. The other thing which I don't think I've mentioned, and I think it's sort of season 4, one of them goes off, which in the US they sort of do with one of the characters, but not really. They do it like, and she's gone, I'll miss her. When in reality she's trapped in a well and stuck for all eternity. So in reality, she didn't. She just got stuck, and then she was able to get back through, and it's really interesting. And there's really good plot development of that. That's besides the point. With this, someone actually goes away, and I find that really respectful. With the episode, I also like the 2 other ones. The 3 other ones I like are the Enfrances, which is basically 2 people having sort of like a communication, and like it sort of unfolds with like, oh, how do you not know? And like you kept talking to, I think, the wife, and then it's like this whole thing. It's like a drama thing. It goes to drama, but the reason why I like it is because you learn about this because he learns French, and like he wouldn't know French except for it. The other one, which no, it's not in here because that's season of a pineapple day. And the reason why I like him, because someone brings a pineapple home, and throughout all of the series, you don't know this. The main characters don't know this. They still think this. Throughout the whole series, the sister looks like a horrible person who deliberately would ruin stuff for, like, the ghost that stays there, and you don't know why. And obviously you know why. It's sort of jealousy. But at the end, it's revealed that, yeah, it isn't the case. She didn't kill her, and she did care about her. It's just, she wanted her father to herself. It was jealousy. It wasn't right. None of it is okay. None of it is moral. But you somewhat get it more. It makes a bit more sense. Because you can tell that these two people are not from the same parents, not because of the obvious, but because they haven't been around for too much longer. So, her father remarries someone, and it's all about, like, having her mother not be around, sort of sense. And you can tell that causes pain. And I like the thing that, like, she got bit, that, like, she picked up a pineapple and was like, ow. And then that one moment was like, oh yeah, it's a pineapple. Like, to someone who hasn't touched a pineapple, that probably didn't mean anything. But I love the one thing that happened and the one reason why we could put it together. Because the one thing is that you could tell two other people who were there, the only two other people who were there, went away. And the other person wasn't actually helpful at all. They were looking at something else. They were looking at the kitchen. But the other person went away. The other two people who were there, because there were 4 people at the time, the other 2 people who went away aren't there to, like, say what actually from their perspective. Which kind of shows the idea of, like, sometimes even with the dead and ghosts being around, you can still have unreliable, but not unreliable, but not the whole pieces of the story. And I like 54321, the whole mystery goes to when she said, ow, it could be the pineapple shop, I didn't know that, or a poisonous spider bit her. They show it at the beginning when she picks up the pineapple, but no one thinks about it. Until obviously, like, the caveman literally said, yeah, I was paying attention to this really awesome spider. Don't know where it came from. And they described it as like, oh, that shouldn't be in here. That is not from, that is not native here. That means it came from the pineapple, which is basically for shipmenting, etc., etc., etc. And then, obviously, episode 6 and the Christmas episode deal with the consequences of, you know, the first episode of this, and she gets pushed off. And realistically, I don't know how they're going to do. If they're going to do a similar thing, maybe try and think about selling it and doing all of that stuff again. I don't know how, because with the UK, legitimately, you could be like, well, by the way, I did try and murder you. I will try and justify that to you, which is, you can't. You tried to murder me. But the US one is like, yeah, so why did I fall? Well, in our defense, I was trying to push it. And I did warn you, you were nowhere near when I was originally trying to do it. And I just wanted to prove that I could push something off something. It's stupid. But realistically, it is an accident. Legitimately, the US one is a complete accident. So you could just wave that away and be like... And obviously they knew they were haunting them beforehand. They could have been like, oh, that makes sense, this makes sense. But yeah, it's the last... Season 1 to Season 5, I think, did it really well. Wait, Season 1 to Season 5 did it really well. With Season 1 sort of building up the characters and learning more about sort of like the characters, the world. And the fact after Season 2 they have a Christmas episode, I really like. And I really love that sort of the history of it. Learning about the ghost. And the way they finish it in the last episode this is technically spoilers, but I just realised this. They sell the property and turn it into like a golf resort, sort of like one of those golf places with hotels and a big chain and all of that stuff. And then they don't sell it in Lost Resort because, like, yeah, I like living here, but because of money troubles and everyone's literally on the children being like, oh yes, 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 they sell it. But the last shot is them coming back later and seeing the thing. And then here's the song, people, which is just hilarious. But I hope you enjoy this mad video, and good